Good evening. My name is Joanne Hoy, and I am the Wholesome Words creative and founder. And I am joined by my friend, Mr. Craig Carlisle, who is joining me yet again. Hey, Craig.
How you doing?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
You
Doing
doing
good.
good? Okay, so Craig, what you been up to?
I've been eating some chicken wings over here when we were off stage. You know what I'm saying? I made some chicken wings tonight with my own kind of doctor sauce. And so I might have some on my face on the camera. So my face is shiny. It's shining from the chicken grain, tasting sauce. So
We can see that we're going to have fun tonight. I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
I want to welcome everyone to my 10th in a series of events of Wholesome Words Live.
Does that mean it's almost a year you've been doing this?
Almost a year, Craig.
Wow.
Oh, gosh. And Juneteenth of this year, it will be one complete year. And I'm super excited. And so this month's theme is Time to Bloom. And my time to bloom kind of happened last Juneteenth when I was inspired to start hosting these events. And my blooming came in stages because it was really hard to start doing these, because Craig will tell you that when I started, you just heard my voice and you saw my picture and I was a happy camper.
The icon just used to glow, and that was it. And then all of a sudden this picture showed up.
Yep.
6 shows later.
6 shows later, you're right. And so after much discussion with Craig, I realized that it was time to bloom. And so I made a daring step from behind the avatar, and I've been on ever since. So I'm sharing that because I know sometimes people think that, oh, you can just do it and it's easy. And I'm going to tell you that I have been through, I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to do it.
Cussing and screaming. I mean, kicking and screaming, not cussing. You didn't have a cursing spirit. So.
No, I don't know, but I was kicking and screaming. And so I realized that I needed to change. It was time to come from behind the avatar and share. And I'll say it's one of the best suggestions that Craig gave me, and I've grown. So sometimes growing pains can be difficult, but if you just allow yourself to just stretch yourself just a little bit, it's time to, bloom. And so I'm excited. I want to remind everybody that Wholesome Words is that space for you to kind of feel your way out of like what you'd like to do, whether it's spoken word or storytelling or just beats. There's so many things that we are hopefully providing that platform for people to think about joining us. Yeah. And so this is what we do. And it's monthly on the third Friday of every month. And so, la.
I thought you were going to do the Montel Jordan, this is how we do it. But I was going to jump in, but you didn't go there. So I was like, oh.
Okay. So
I'd have been off key anyway. So, the DJ don't have to do nothing but spin it.
Oh, just make it spin. Huh?
Yeah, I was going to drop the wrong track.
Okay. All right, Mr. DJ, MC. Okay, so we're going to get started. And for those that know me, I start the same. And I'm excited because he's one of my favorites. And I know I say that all the time, but he truly is. And so we're kicking this off with Preston Perry.
What's the title? Oh, was it the title? Or did you forget?
If I ever forget.
Yeah.
Lord, if I ever forget how to praise you, let my tongue forget language. Let my ears forget how the ocean sounds when the currents violently collide against the rocks along the shoreline. And let me forget the morning, where the silence sings a symphony of peace that only you can orchestrate, and where your mercy is new and in its sweetest form. But remind me of the day when I was thirsty, in need of the type of water that will unparch my soul forever. And your grace came in and flooded this dying desert of a man. Remind me of the days when darkness followed me so much. The moon knew me by name, but your voice, still as a morning ocean, called me out of midnight into your marvelous light. Let not my heart be like Israel, who forgot that they saw you saw sea in half, to lead them to a land where slavery knew not their names, and freedom sung them into a clear sky. But help me to remember your goodness, that your love is the only thing that matters when all else fails. Remind me that your brutal, bloody, beaten body was bruised on the cross for my sins, that you died in my place. When my pride is high, remind me that you lowered yourself to die for my sins. Lord, if I ever forget how to praise you, let me forget everything that's ever existed. But help me to remember you, because in you, all things exist. We exist to make your name known, because when everything passes away, you will be the only thing that truly matters.
Yeah, that's how you start Wholesome Words. That's just how you start it. Yeah. I love
awesome.
Preston Perry.
Now, how did you come across Preston? Where were you first exposed to him?
You know, I have this friend named Craig who was working on.
That's not me.
You know him? Okay. He was working on something called The Framework, and he has this vision that one day the framework would encompass all different kinds of different things. So he gave me the challenge to go and check out all these Christian spoken word artists. And so everybody knows that before Preston, there's Joseph Solomon. Straight up. I play it over and over. Shadow of a Doubt 2. Surprise y'all not seeing it today. But in preparing for Juneteenth last year, I went back through my catalog of these amazing Christian spoken word artists, and it just kind of mesmerized me and just really focused in on what wholesome words are, what they can do to you, how they can plant those seeds. And so I'm like, you know what? This is a prayer. And so I moved forward, and I have not changed since. So
you haven't deviated at all from that septum. I got you.
No, I haven't. And I can say I've listened to a lot of other great artists, but they just don't set the mood like Preston does. So pretty excited about that.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah. Thanks, Craig. So every month we have a thing called Words and Beats. And this is an opportunity for those who might want to hear their spoken word or their beats, or show their art of graffiti, visual arts. I mean, so there's just a wide variety. And Craig, who's been in existence, congratulations, happy anniversary to the Framework. And if you're not sure what the Framework is, you can go on to Instagram, Facebook, and if you can see how Craig's the name of the Framework is, it's a Christian hip hop live radio stream. And they're syndicated on 4 different stations, correct, Craig?
Technically it's 5, and we're on 7 days a week somewhere, including our own site on theframework.com.
All right. So if you're looking for a wholesome Christian hip hop, check them out, because this particular station is really, it is Craig, but it's really run by his 4 sons. Yeah. And you will hear some amazing things from just a 12-year-old. I can't believe it. but they all work behind the scenes. And so when you hear the framework, you actually kind of get into a relationship with his sons. And so I encourage you, if you haven't, to check out the framework, Instagram, Facebook, and what else, Craig?
And that's it for now. And the website itself, framework.com.
And right.
It's always
so Craig and I, we said, how can we make this more inviting for others? And sure enough, he said, let's do some words and beats. I'm like, sounds good. So he has a program called New Music Monday. And every New Music Monday, we have an artist that we feature. So this month, it's Trent Shelton.
Spoken word is an element of hip-hop. They go together like a hi-hat and snare. So does Wholesome Words and the Framework. And we've come together to present Words and Beats of the Week. If you're a poet, spoken word artist, producer, or musician, email your 1-minute submission to wordsandbeats@theframework.com. If your submission is chosen, it will air on both Wholesome Words' social media and an episode of The Framework.
You're in the framework.
The Framework. Thanks, Craig. So we're always getting submissions and we love them. I love them. So we're moving on to our first artist, and already there's fanfare, I can tell. There's this particular, Claudia King said, looking forward to Andrea Mabena. Yes, we are too. We have another one from Bernice Hunt. She said, yes, go, Andy. You know, and then we even have Mr. Brian, who said, hello, how you doing? So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to some people. And she's almost like a regular now because she's on almost every single month. And I love it because she's growing and she can talk about her time of blooming. Did you bloom, Andy? Can you share a little bit about your process without me?
Of course. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me tonight. You will not regret it. You will be blessed. This poem that I will tell you shortly about, it's called It's a New Day, but I would like to just give you a short snippet of where my journey has begun. So I started last year in August with the event. I think it was called Autumn Winds. And I started to do producing videos. Now, don't get me wrong, I've never produced a video before. So when I started and I asked God, I was like, okay, I'm gonna just try this because at first I was introduced by Miss Joanne. And she said, why don't you participate in the event? And I said, well, let me just check it out first. So I checked out an event that was actually in June before I performed or actually submitted my my videos. And I really liked it. So, you know, I took a leap of faith and I was obedient to God because I didn't realize the gifts that He had hidden inside me were dormant. They were not being used. And I didn't even know I had these gifts until He actually revealed it to me. So I made a video called Patience. Now it's funny because that video that I made about patience actually helped me throughout the process where I am today, because I had to have a lot of patience to be where I am today. And then the next video that I did, I believe it was Lead Me, Lord. And I did a song on that. The first one was a spoken word piece. And then after that, it was a Thank You, Lord. It was a rapping video. And then I produced a video called God, You Are My Anchor. And then when Christmas came along, Miss Joanne wanted to do an event just solely on I think it was called The New You, or I believe it was, what was it called? New
Yeah,
You?
new plus, yeah.
Yeah, New Plus You.
You,
So I was
yeah.
listening to,
I forget what it
and
was.
you forgot what it was?
I forget the name. They come, the kid gives them to me, I use them, and then I forget them. You plus you equals something new you or something like that.
Right, exactly. And so I took a break on that even though I wanted to participate. She actually, Miss Joanne, introduced me to spoken word. Now, keep in mind, I've never did spoken word before, and I was like, you sure you want me to do this? You know, I think I would be best just doing the videos because I was actually hiding behind the videos. I didn't want to step out of the box and let everyone see this beautiful face. So I had to take a leap of faith again. God was pushing me and challenging me and growing me to become the person that He created me to be. So I had to go through all the learning of how to be a spoken word artist. So I looked at other artists like Jackie Hill, Genetics. Those are just a few Christian women artists that do spoken word. And I was really intrigued. I was like, hey, I think I could do this. I think I can do this. This is pretty awesome. Because I've always wanted to be an actress, and I've always wanted to impact the lives of other people and just encourage people and uplift them. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this out. So, of course, I started, and she gave me lessons. She had me really, hone down on being saturated in understanding the basic skills of being a spoken word artist. And so once I started doing that, I did my first piece, which was called Breakthrough. And it was about my life, how I grew up, how I was teased, how I was humiliated, and I was able to find Christ through actually me being humiliated and teased. And I gave my life to Christ when I was in high school. After that, my second piece, it was Lift Every Voice and Sing, I believe. And then my third piece, which I did last month, was Release the Zeal. And Release the Zeal was about people like you who need to be released for a purpose. It was called Release for a Purpose. And need to be released for a purpose to do what God has called them to do. And so when I did that, this month, it's called It's a New Day. And this piece is about encouraging anyone that has gifts that God has given you. Don't feel scared. I know I was scared doing this, but this is an amazing journey that I've been on. And I'm just excited to see what else God has in store for me, because obviously He says the plans that He has for us gives us hope and a future, not to cause us harm. So I'm so excited to see what He has planned for me. And I want to encourage you guys. I want to uplift you guys. I want to make sure that you guys have a place here. This is a safe place. I love Miss Joanne. I love Craig. They're awesome. And I have just been just loved, just welcomed. So don't feel afraid. Participate. She leaves a link to register. So you just register. And whatever gifts you have, if you're a spoken word artist, if you are a singer, if you are a painter, we actually have another gentleman who participated in this event.
Ronnie Robles, yeah.
We got Ronnie Robes, and he's an amazing artist. So please check out Wholesome Words. You will not be disappointed.
Well, I got my own infomercial, Craig. I'm in big time now. Woo!
Without further ado, let me bless you guys with, it's called It's a New Day. As you embark on this new day, please don't delay putting your gifts on display to the world. Remember where God has brought you from and what He's creating you to become, for He's directing you to your next destination. To use your gifts to heal this nation. But in order to maintain the light, you must continue to abide in Christ as you start to take flight. For God has given you the gifts to take you to new heights. For darkness cannot drive out darkness, only the light. The time is now to administer your gifts as God gives you insight while you persist. Be obedient to him as he sees you through, because in your obedience, someone else receives the breakthrough. Yes, it's a new day, so be unafraid. Don't worry if you fail. With God, you will always prevail. Dust yourself off and pick up where you last stopped. Do not be weary of doing God's work, for a change is going to come, and it's coming soon. You'll start to break out from your cocoon. You are a child of God. So take charge of this day, for his mercies are new every morning. So allow God to mold you as you keep on transforming, because tomorrow, it's not promised. So let us just keep each other honest. You must stay true to the way God has made you, for it's time to release the light. Jesus Christ, shining within you so bright. Let the whole world hear your story as you continue to give God all the glory. For God has created a new thing in you. So let your gifts manifest into truth. But it must start with you. Then you will see God move as you make your debut. So continue to cherish every moment as you live for this new day, allowing God to use you in a special way. Allow God to order your steps, I pray. So start making room and get ready soon, because right now, it's your time to bloom. I can't hear you guys.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Every month you just grow and grow and grow. And I love it. You have some people that are talking to you from Carlin Ashley Rigas. She says, go, Andrea Mabena. And then there's one from Raphael Trujillo. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Sorry, but and then I know you know this person because she's talking about herself as well. She's just sharing right now. She's sharing. Pepsi One said, "Beautiful, Andy."
Thank you.
And then Pepsi One also said, "Only the light will guide you through." Just beautiful. Claudia King. Wow, thank you, everyone. And Kathy Nash, which is a personal friend. Hey, Kathy. Hi, hey, Chrissy Chris, I see you too. So, yeah. Yeah, awesome. So, girl, that was, I know every month it's true. Wait, there's one from Cynthia.
Oh, thank you.
And
thank you so much.
And from, yeah. Are these your fans?
Yes, they are. Thank you. Thank you, Mary. Oh, you guys are so awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cynthia said I loved it. Yes, I love it too, Cynthia. You have no idea. You have no idea.
That's why I love this platform, is because you have a way and a place that's a safe place to be able to do the thing that you really, want to do, and that you feel you're called to do, and you do best. Because if we didn't have this place, Jonah, if you didn't do, unsung or wholesome words from years ago and restarted it during a pandemic, when a time when people really didn't want to come out of doors or come out of their shell and went into cocoons, homes, whatever, and this space has always been a place for people to constantly have an outlet. And see, this is a great thing that's shown how something bloomed. The seed was planted inside of Andy before this time, but this gave her an opportunity to grow. I mean, watered and to break through the ground, grow, and actually begin to actually bloom. And as next step for her is producing fruit, which is, it could be anything. It could be books. It could be, movies. It could be more and more videos. But the sky is the limit. And this really is a testament to your obedience to this event, Joe, and Andy, your obedience to the Lord, actually saying yes and crossing out and stepping out on the water. It's really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Craig. For those of you that don't know, Andy and we do have a previous artist relationship. Many rains ago, I'll say it like that. I was the creative arts director at a church where I met her mother and her whole family. And Andi was just a little thing then. And so Andi wanted to dance. And so I'm like, well, hey, come on. And dancing and playwriting are just my gifts from God. And so Andi's first debut of being an actress, as she's talking about, is when she played Zora Neale Hurston, who is an amazing poet. Hint, hint, Andi.
Wow.
And so the play was so long ago, I'm not even sure what I called it, but it might have been Lift Every Voice and Sing. Who knows? You know, I like that. I like that thing from James Weldon Johnson. They were just amazing. So history goes, Andi goes to college, and I don't see her for a while. And then, as Facebook is evident to do, you can look up people, find them, and she said, "Hey, you know, Miss Joanne, blah, 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 blah." And so I'm like, well, hey, you should try this, because Andi has always been, let me try. So, yeah. So I'm the one that's blessed, because I can say I saw her as a child, and now she's this beautiful adult woman with 2 beautiful children that we don't even introduce anymore. But hey, you know, we're all in there, right? But
they used to be in there in the camera too. The first couple of events,
right? I don't know if they would saunter in and put their little faces up on the screen.
Computers start moving around and stuff.
Right? Like, are you on here for real, man?
We were on the last event. I was like, oh no.
Right. So you do have some fans. You're gifted.
Aww. Thank you, Carolyn.
And Cynthia.
Aww.
Cynthia gives applause.
Aww.
Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it. And so, Andi, I don't know if you have any other things that you'd like to share, or Craig, do you have? I know you said you wanted to grill her. No, just kidding.
Oh yeah, put you on the CNN commercial. You know what I'm saying? Let's see how that poem applies to the. No, I'm just kidding.
We have fun here. We have fun.
Well, you know what? So we're still waiting for her to submit for Words and Beats, though. You know, she hasn't yet submit for Words and Beats. So I'm just saying, just throwing that out there.
Okay.
But anyway, just a challenge.
Just a 1 minute poem, or what you want?
Let the Lord lead you. Lead you. He came in a 45-minute dissertation and sermonette, but
okay.
No,
right.
You know, 2 to 4 minutes.
You got to give her time, because she'll give you a 10-minute poem in a minute.
Yes. Yeah, 2 to 4 minutes is great, because we put it together with the.
That reminds me, because actually last week when you did the journey with Miss Tiffany about Passion Week, I actually had to do a poem that was 11 minutes long, and it was called Passion of the Christ. So that was another spoken word piece that I actually did that I forgot to mention. Thank you for reminding me.
Oh, and there you have it.
There you have it.
Well, thank you again, Andi. I do appreciate you coming every single month with something new. And I think that you're only destined to become better and improve. And for those who are saying, what was it like? The nice thing about Facebook is that you can go back to Wholesome Words. Yep. And I'm not sure when Andi said she started, in August or September. Yeah. And you can find Autumn Winds. I think you're right. August was Autumn Winds, because I believe that the winds were changing, and boy, did they. And you can actually see Andi, what she submitted. And then, you know, later on, if you like, come back and see this particular poem. She has grown expeditionally, and I am honored to work with you so that you continue to strive to become something that God can use through spoken word.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I am honored to have you both facilitate me and encourage me and you know just push me to grow even better. So I'm excited. I'm so excited. I always get excited when every month it comes. I'm just like, okay, what is the poem? What is the theme?
Yeah, she does bug me for that. Last month was quite an ordeal. But we do thank you, Andi. Craig is laughing because he knows it was 9 days straight. 9 days straight. So I'm just coming off of it. I'm a lot better. Everyone who was there for Salt and Light Arts, the Journey experience, if in case you're wondering, I worked really close with a friend of mine, mentoring her as well. Her name is Tiffany. She's on right now. And we spent the whole week of Passion Week every day. So if you go to Salt and Light Arts Facebook page, you can pick any day. You'll see it under the videos. Yeah. So a lot of work went into that. And then the day before Palm Sunday, I hosted or produced a production called At the Kitchen Table, another type of evangelistic outreach. So yeah, that's my calling. So Andy, thank you again. And we're going to move forward. And if you have questions, as you can see, I put them in the chat or in our video so you can see. So we are mobile and able. Okay. Tiffany said it was a super fun time. Yeah, Tiff. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a super fun time. It was just a long week.
It was a long week for me.
In the production value of it and ministry moment, but for everyone that was able to watch, and I enjoyed it most because it was the first few of your events that I didn't have to do tech, so I got a chance to just come and be a spectator. So I thought that was even awesome to be able to step back and go, and pick up some tips for when we do things again. So yeah, I thought it was awesome.
Okay. All right. So Kathy Nash says, this is my friend, it is interesting that during a time of being still, so many have managed to grow. Be still and know that I am God. Yeah, Thank you. Thank you. And then Cynthia says, love it. Thank you for all sharing with us. Thank you, Miss Andrea Mabena, for inviting me. Thank you, Cynthia, for coming. Thank you so much, everybody. Yeah. Okay, Andy. Love you, mean it. Bye. Take care. All right. Oops.
You cut her off so soon. Oh my gosh.
I know. Sorry, Addie. She's like that. She still loves me.
I know. See,
you guys are still working on that.
Only if I know you're in the green room. Even if you need to throw a stone at her or something, put up a post about her or something. So I was on the show. I was just ready to talk again. I was ready to just do your thing. Just do your thing.
Yeah. I'm loved. Can you guys tell I'm loved? So moving on, we have a video from a new person. Well, at least for me, because as you now know, I spend time actually hearing from God to figure out what the theme is for the month. And then he kind of just gives me stuff. So next, we have Peace Amongst Chaos from Ronald Banks.
In this time of chaos and uncertainty, I bring peace with these words I speak, so listen. Breathe and allow me to create this blanket of serenity, one large enough to hold you and soften your anxiety. I know you may be wondering, when will life return to its normal ways and bring sunshine to these cloudy days? My son, my daughter, in due time it will, much sooner than you think. And this fear you feel will pass like the gas you have from all that food you bought. And we'll then all gather to tell this story like, you remember that one time when and laughter will fall from our lips as we embrace our loved ones. So as you go, learn to be still. Allow your breath to guide you. You'll get through this. We all will.
Wow. Just kind of fitting for where we are and the recent events of what's going on, to just be still and hear from God. I think Kathy Nash said that. And that's true. And so this year has been a time of being still And I didn't want to come out of it without saying I did something. I know that I'm like one of those people that are like, I ain't going outside unless it's essential shopping. No, if it ain't essential, you're not gonna find me out there because I see too much crazy stuff. But
Even if it was essential, you wouldn't coming outside.
no, Craig, I have to do essential shopping. At least got to do that much. So, but there's so much that I realized that I didn't have to have this one year of 2020 to just be like a train wreck.
Yeah.
And so, as Craig was talking before, Wholesome Words is not really a new thing. It's something I've been doing probably about maybe 10 plus years ago. I did Wholesome Words in Pink, where I worked with Susan J. Komen and gave wholesome words to the breast cancer survivors, their families and loved ones. And then they just kind of kept evolving. And he mentioned Unsung, which is kind of like what this is, just a different one. And people would come all over. That's where I met. If he's listening tonight, I'm not sure if he's on, but Ronnie Robles, known as, we call him Ro, where you at, Ro? And he's this amazing poet and visual artist that is prophetic in his visual art when he hears a sermon or something from God. So it just started. And so I have this other friend, I'm not sure if she's on right now, Kim Schatz, who kind of like, let's do it. Let's just do this. And she led me to where we are today, 10 months in, every month. And so I'm looking forward to my 1-year anniversary with Wholesome Words Live. So, and so again, this theme is bloom, or time to bloom, and recognizing how God can use you if you allow yourself, like Andy said, to just take a leap of faith or just try. And so that's what peace among chaos. If you have peace, you can do all kinds of different things. Craig, do you have anything to add?
No, that was it. I mean, you nailed it. It really is a time for us to really grow where we're planted. So often we don't feel like we have anything to offer, or we did want to disqualify ourselves by thinking that we were not good enough or not strong enough, or I can't do what they're doing, talking on video, or, doing a poem, or even reading something out loud on video. But you'll be surprised what you can do when you're forced to do it, or you even have the opportunity to do it. I used to say the same thing too, when I used to be, first was a single parent. Now it's just like, it's like breathing, because you really don't know what you can do until you're given the opportunity, and you have to do it. So yeah, I think this is awesome. Great platform, great place. It's on my calendar every third Friday of the month.
Thanks, Craig. Okay, next we have Blooming from Tanner Olson.
I wonder what is happening that I cannot see. Something below the surface, or beyond the horizon, or between the questions and answers. A spark, a whisper, a prayer. And today, I don't need to know what, I just want to trust that something more is happening. To let go and remember the beauty of becoming, the joy of blooming. Trusting that small, faithful steps lead us further than we could ever dream or imagine. And I imagine I'll continue to dream about what is happening that I cannot yet see. A hope, a moment, a breakthrough.
Wow. A hope, a moment. Okay. That's where we are right now. So take advantage of this time to bloom. Tanner said it really well, not knowing and living in some type of uncertainty. Yeah.
And where'd you find Tanner's piece? Because that's a very concise and to the point piece.
God.
I would not have even thought of being a spoken word piece. That's almost under a minute.
Yeah. Very powerful. very
Yeah.
powerful.
Yeah.
Right. Enough for you to wet the whistle, get people intrigued, and bring you in and say, "Wait a minute, say that again."
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and
where I
then
found myself. I was like, wait a minute. Well, you're not done yet, right?
yeah,
No.
he's done. Yeah. It was kind of fun finding these guys this time.
It's almost
So
like they're
hopefully you're
snippets.
encouraged
It's
and,
almost like
and
there's
know
snippets
that.
of something.
Say again, Craig?
It's almost like there's snippets or something, but they're great to the point. It's another example too that you don't have to use a lot of words to get the message across. They're definitely right there. Hit it, quit it, get in and get out.
Yeah. That was what I thought too. So next we won't introduce this person, but we will play her video, Tsunami of Creativity.
Oh, I think you might know this person. Let me see. I think this is somebody we know. Her name is no? Okay, all right.
I believe that my tsunami of creativity is about to hit. An unreal day. Jeremiah 29:11. Looking at the past 3 months, I feel another tsunami of creativity is about to hit the shores of our minds once more. The winds of creative energy has increased to an unprecedented levels of leaps of faith that is matched with above and beyond measure of grace and influence. Matchless are these waves of opportunity that reach our shores of simple obedience. I welcome the tsunami of creativity, and I pray that the plans that he has bring hope and a future and life and light and love and unmerited favor for the reasons that he created us to actively proclaim his gospel.
Did you call that in there? Was that pandemic poetry? Is that what you had?
Yeah, I have a collection. When the pandemic started, I started to write, and so I have a collection of poems from that are from during this pandemic poetry.
Oh, so you should be trying to recite some of those pretty soon and have those set up as an artist's spoken word style. That would be pretty unprecedented and during this unsung time.
I think about it. I got this a lot juggling. Some folks know a lot's juggling, but yeah, I think Tsunami might have been my first one. I know that there's another one that I did. I started playing with video and sound and putting my poetry out there. And it's thanks, Chrissy, my good friend. It's Chrissy Chris. She says, yeah, it's a blessing. This is a blessing to me too. So I started off just because it's like I needed to kill time, right? What was I gonna do, you know? And so early on, I started just playing around, and I felt this was really a platform. And then the next thing I know, I'm doing Wholesome Words. So what you do with your time to bloom, again, time to bloom. So the next artist is Sean B. Still God.
When the storm settles, when the walls fall, when the night passes, you are still God. The creator, the maker, far greater than pain or pandemic, our savior when it seems there's no ending to trial after trial that hits us like waves. Who you are is proof that one thing remains. And that one thing is constant. That one thing doesn't change. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow the same. In the days things are great and I praise you the same. In the days that I make your heart break, you're the same. Consistent, continuous, constantly here. In low valleys, high mountains, your presence is near. In the present, I tend to lose sight of that fact, but to see where I'm at from my past, whew, it's so clear that through it all, you are still God. The God that's a light to my darkest of thoughts. The God that's the map to the wandered and lost. The God that's enough when he's all that I got. The God that sees value and says I'm worth the cost. You're the God that's perfect and loves me though I'm not. You're the God that carries me when my feet hit a stop. You're the God that forgave me when I deserved hell. When you yelled it is finished that night on the cross. Through it all, you are still God. My strongest foundation, you are my still God. In the midst of my storm, Lord, you are a still God. When the enemy hears how these words instill God, he'll attack to remove you, but he cannot steal God. You are still God. So tell me, what sickness can break us? What fear can invade us? What media can tame us with the stories they make up? What can anyone say? What can anyone do to ever hide that through it all, there's still you? So through all of this, remind us again that you have a plan for your glory in the end. And Lord, until then, all we pray for is patience. Let us be the light to the ones who forgot. Let us remind them that you are still God.
Wow.
Well,
Woo.
sometimes God has to remind us, but he shouldn't need any introduction, right? But if we just would use our memory and realize what God has done for us, about us, with us, to us, through us, and we would never have to worry about anything that he's gonna do for us again if we just will remember what he did the last time, or maybe the time before that, or the time before that. I'm just saying.
He's still God.
It's still God.
Yeah. And so if you're still kind of wondering what can I do? God can show you. Just like Andy and others, like Tiffany Greenwood and Chrissy Chris, who's on here, and others that have just said, I'm going to just try and see where it leads me. Is this a time to bloom? You're blooming for a lot of other reasons, not just for your own personal growth, but you never know. Oh, your step of obedience. What do I say, Craig?
Well, you've also said that someone is waiting on the other side.
On the other side, right. So someone is waiting on the other side of your obedience. And so your obedience might be their breakthrough. That might be their time that they need to hear from God. So someone is always waiting on the other side of your breakthrough, of your obedience.
Yeah.
And so even though it's scary, and I know Tiffany could probably be on here and tell you so many different scary stories, and same with Andy too, because she's like, no, I don't want. And same with me. I told you at the beginning, I kicked and screamed, and Craig will tell you, I kicked and screamed. Yes, I did. But on the other side of my obedience. That's why I could tell Tiffany she could do this. That's why I could tell Andy, yeah, you can be in front of the camera too, because I know what you felt, but I know the greater good that someone else is waiting on the other side of my obedience. And so I don't know where my obedience, who it's going to touch. Yes.
Well, just imagine if you had not have done this 10 months ago. We wouldn't be here. We're not sure if Andy would have continued to grow at the same rate.
Yeah.
Maybe she would have gotten discouraged. Maybe Ro would not have, I know he wouldn't have painted the purpose painting he did for us, because that wouldn't have been I mean, we had met him years ago, right? But we weren't reconnected during this time. I'm doing our men's study on Thursday nights. You know, he's there with us there, and who knows what might not have been had we not done the framework or wholesome words and whatever is to come next. We just don't know, but we do know that if we're obedient, and it's not because it's better than sacrifice, there's so many more things that could come to pass that we can't even imagine. So yeah, if we could just do that and not worry about the rest of the stuff, it'll be fine.
Yeah. And what I'm saying or asking or hopefully suggesting or planting a seed is that I know it's not easy. I so understand. I so get it. And again, I can go back and tell you that I was mad at Craig for him even consistently asking me to do it, to the point where he says, okay, I'm not going to say anything to you again. I mean, I was like, I'm not doing it. So stop doing that. And so you see, we're stop letting me. Someone is waiting on the other side of your obedience. So even if it's just something little, or you just need a safe place to bloom in creativity, Wholesome Words, consider Wholesome Words as your platform. And if you're not sure, you can hit me up on Facebook Messenger, Wholesome Words, Salt and Light Arts. Let me know. I'm willing to help. And so we can take steps from there. So yeah. And Tiffany says, one of my mentees, she says so many scary stories, and she makes all these faces, these emoji faces, but she just says, just do it. And she says that obedience brings about blessings. And I believe that's true. You just have to trust God. So thank you, everyone. Next, we have an artist, and his name is, I'm just going to say his first name because I don't want to mess up the rest of his name, but I think I can do Detonio Cheatham.
Okay.
Time.
The most precious thing that we have in this world is time. Because it's the only thing that'll move on without you, whether you be dead or alive. And I'm not the one to give advice, but it would be wise if we just took our time. Took the time to show love to one another. Took the time to treat a stranger like a brother. Respect our elders like they're our mothers, and believe in a higher power just like we do each other. Uncover the blueprint to the family foundation which holds us together. Take time to improve ourselves so that we can be better. Better than the person we was in previous times. Spread knowledge to the oblivious minds. Because every moment is unique and you can lose it in a drop of a dime if you don't take your time. Time always wins, it's only used to victory. It remains undefeated from now into infinity. It will make you do the things that you want to do and the things that you don't want to do, because the thing that controls your life is not you. And it's the truth. Don't get it confused, because mentally you have to think spiritually. No matter how hard you try to go against time, it got a cousin called eventually. Eventually you will submit and surrender to the lessons that time will teach. It is the parent of life, beyond distinct. Nothing can get in its way, it has a permanent breach. Time can heal the wounds that life has once created, but in time you will be doomed, so don't make it complicated. Man didn't invent time, man invented a clock. Look down at your watch, it's in every tick and every tock. But that's just a small microcosm of the proof of its existence, Doc. You can pause for the moment, but time will never stop. It comes and goes and remains on the perfect path. There's not a storm on earth that can compete with time's wrath. Some people live for the moment and some people live for the future, but everything that you do in the moment will determine your future. So we can't take the moment for granted, because it is a fact that you won't get that moment back.
time. You won't get it back. It keeps moving, whether you want it to or not, whether you're here or not, it keeps moving. It's a powerful piece.
I loved his 3-in-1 shot he did on that hillside. That was very, very impressive to be able to do that. And they turned at different times as well to leave the frame. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of creativity out there.
Oh yeah.
Just got to join the clan. Just join it.
We just got to just do it, right? Like Tiffany said.
Swoosh. I just want to say swoosh. Just swoosh. Swoosh.
You can't say that it's copyrighted. You know, they'll cut us off. So they'll mute the audio. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh, sorry. Swish. Just do it. Just do it. Yeah. When I heard that, I was like, well, wow, there's just so many powerful nuggets in looking at, you know, how we perceive time, or we think we have enough time. It's what you do with your time. And so, time to bloom. Yep. Okay, so speaking of blooming, we have Ronke Jane Hart. Bloom.
Bloom.
If the flower could speak, I'd ask her how it felt to know that she'd only be here a short while. I'd ask her how it felt to be planted only in one spot. I'd ask her if she resented not being a bee or a bird or a butterfly. I'd ask her if she got bored of the view, or tired of the wind, or angry with the rain. I imagine this is probably what she'd say to me. If I spent my time being jealous of the birds, resentful of the bees, or angry with the rain, I'd be missing the point. I'm only here a short while, so I savor the view, dance in the wind, and thank God for the rain. And then I bloom, because that is what I have been put on this earth to do. I add beauty and color and life, but most of all, I remind you that you too can bloom.
This heart of mine. Whew. You know, just kind of putting everything in perspective. Yeah.
Helps you bloom.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
And it's funny too, is when you just the topic of bloom itself, you look at flowers, they don't make any noise. They just sit there and the wind blows them to and fro, and they just do what they do. They just live. They just give God's glory just through their color, just through their shape, just through their aroma. And sometimes that's all we need to do. We don't need to say anything. And sometimes we do need to speak up more, but sometimes we just need to stand, be still, and know that I am God, and just do what we do. Show
Yeah,
our
that's
faith.
been the theme. Kathy Nash brought that up. Let me see if I can find that comment again. She says, let me see. Let me scroll up here. Yeah, I can scroll. What did she say? There it is. Kathy says, it's interesting during a time of being still, so many have managed to grow.
Yeah.
Be still and know that I am God. And that's kind of been the repeating theme during the time to bloom. I've heard it through conversations with Andy and Craig and some of you guys that are making all kinds of amazing comments here. Yeah. Tiffany, my mentee, says, time to bloom. Yeah, it is. It is. It's time. And so that's all we have for tonight. It's been exciting. Hopefully you've been inspired. Sometimes inspiration doesn't take a lot of time. Hopefully it's enough to plant some seeds for you to kind of maybe sit and spend some time with God and see how He wants you to bloom and in what areas. And so I want to encourage you to do that. And yeah. So we're going to close. Craig, do you have anything that you'd like to add to it right now?
No, I'm just blooming where I'm planted.
So we're going to close out with our wholesome words and beats for, I think it was last week, Mr. Trent Shelton. Do we have him, Craig?
I don't know. I don't think we have him this time because the last one I played before was just the promo itself. I don't
Right.
see it listed.
Okay.
Why don't I just play the promo again? We're out.
All right.
We're out.
Yeah.
Spoken word is an element of hip hop. They go together like a hi-hat and snare. So does wholesome words in the framework. And we've come together to present words and beats of the week. If you're a poet, spoken word artist, producer, or musician, email your 1-minute submission to wordsandbeats@theframework.com. If your submission is chosen, it will air on both Wholesome Words' social media and an episode of The Framework.
You're in the framework.
Good night, everybody.